Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law. Certain portions of it may be closed to the public for the purpose of personnel and/or other matters as outlined in the Sunshine Law. Decisions made or discussed in closed session will be made known to the public at a later time. All contracts awarded by mayor and council must comply with the affirmative action requirements of PL 1975 C127. Fire exits are located in the directions I'm indicating. If you're alert for fire, please move in a calm, orderly manner to the nearest smoke-free exit. Notice to members of the governing body and borough staff, any use of electronic devices during this meeting shall be used solely for the purposes of borough business, and any communications are subject to the Open Public Records Act. Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Here.
Councilman Connolly.
Here.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Signorello.
Here.
Councilman Robina.
Here.
Councilwoman Belomo.
Here.
Mayor Signorello.
Present.
All present, Mayor.
Andrew, please lead us in the opening prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, grant us thy help in all our duties and perplexities. We ask for thy guidance. Give us thy protection in our dangers and sorrows. Grant us thy peace. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there are no communications for consideration this evening. There are no proclamations or presentations for this evening. Just to let everybody know, we are wearing yellow in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We will have a proclamation at the next meeting. Unfortunately, the Matteo Vitale family could not make it tonight, so we will be pushing that to the next meeting. But we're obviously all wearing our yellow in recognition of that. May I have a motion to approve meeting minutes pending corrections?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion that bills and payrolls be not read and passed for payment?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion to open the public portion on agenda items only?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If you'd like to come up and speak on agenda items, please come up and do so now. Okay, seeing no one, may I have a motion to close the public portion on agenda items only?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, reports of departments. Andrew, you want to start us off?
Sure, Mayor. Just a couple of ongoing things from the administration side. So we're quickly approaching the go-live date for our bond for our capital budget, which is September 15th, coming up at the next meeting. So there'll be a lot of things on the next agenda. We did receive bids for a couple of special projects. Bids came in very well, so we're looking forward to awarding the Ball Fields Lot project. We're looking forward to awarding the Webster Avenue project, and we're currently out to bid as of today for Maplewood Avenue and Union Road. We're anticipating a good result there as well. The market seems pretty good right now, so knock on wood for that. We have the police chief, unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but him and I met with Superintendent Garrido and the administration at the high school to talk about the rollout of the school resource officer position. We've been unable to solicit, or we were soliciting, but we've been unable to acquire Class 2s to hire at this point, applications, so we're extending the deadline for applications. With that said, we are still rolling out the position. It will be a uniformed police officer at a reduced rate on an off-duty basis. The PBA has graciously agreed to go with pretty much the minimum rate that we would charge an outside entity. We assured them that there would be coverage for all hours that they need an officer in the high school. Once the Class 2s are hired by the borough, we'll obviously reassign them and get them into a regular schedule of rotating through the high school, so it's always a familiar face there. But the great thing is that our officers are always in the high school anyway, so it is always a familiar face. But we are looking forward to rolling that out next week when school starts. A couple other quick things. I noticed the council members are probably going to talk about this a little bit. We are rolling out some very visible traffic calming measures. They're small but mighty, I like to say. Some curb painting, some signage refreshing. We're doing that. We're trying to do it as part of road projects, but we're also just doing it as independent projects. So some of that started this week. Some of it's going to continue probably tomorrow and into the following week, and we're going to do much more of that into the future. So a lot of good things on the horizon. We're looking forward to the next council meeting for some of the more concrete things. That's how I have, Mayor.
So much yellow curbing. Looks good. All right, Ken?
Thank you, Mayor.
Just a friendly note that final tax bills, which will be the fourth quarter of '22 and the first and second of '23, will be mailed out by the end of this month, and that's all I have right now, Mayor.
Okay. Sorry, any questions for the CFO? Nope. Okay, cool. John? I'm just going down the row. Mealy.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. New Jersey, Elizabethtown Gas and American Water have completed a bunch of roads and paving over the last few weeks, and done a great deal of the striping. It's definitely substantially complete. There is some things that are going on still. There'll still be some striping going on even tomorrow, but it's predominantly done. But there's other new ongoing work that the utility companies are doing in other sections that were not obviously recently paved. So work continues there. There is some ongoing drainage improvements that are needed around the borough that I'm going to be working closely with Andrew and with Paul. I also had reached out to the DOT, and unfortunately, Meredith Hammond, we were referred to by Vanessa Holman, who responded to a report that was provided to her last year. She's predominantly remote. She's not in the office, so I'm coordinating with her via email to try to get some answers on what the status is with the yellow striping on 28 and the do not block the intersection and some of the other environmental study on the railroad and things of that nature. So that's an ongoing thing. The noise barriers, would be part of a larger project, and engineering gets involved there, so that's definitely got a longer lead time. The striping and such, we were told some time ago that would be done relatively soon, so it's just one of those things we need to stay on them. DOT is still seems to be dealing with the remnants of the COVID pandemic where they're not readily available, so we're working around that. But work continues with the there's not too many issues, thankfully, with sanitary sewer. There's a couple loose items of things that occurred in earlier months that we're just staying on top of, but there's mostly just drainage and streets that we need to be dealing with. And I had a nice conversation earlier today with one of the owners of Breakwater. They're looking to do some temporary improvements to get up and running on a temporary basis.
Yep.
And I'm working with Rich to make sure everything's on the up and up there. They're going to have some temporary parking and some line striping and things of that nature. And that's about all I have to report, Mayor.
Cool. And then, John, while I have you, I'm going to talk about this, I guess, during my report, but since I have you, and we had a nice chat about it beforehand, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of that Elizabethtown gas road work and kind of how that's shooken out. So I would say par for the course in the state, and John, you work around the state. Obviously, Colliers has a wide reach in the state of New Jersey.
Of course.
I think we're going to look to potentially amend our ordinance based on our conversation, but we passed an ordinance, I think it was 3 years ago, basically, if road work is done on the street, if it's younger than 5 years, you have to do curb to curb. If it's older than 5 years, it's half road. That's correct, right, Andrew? That's the way more or less in broad strokes. And you'd say that's probably par for the course in the state of New Jersey, more or less?
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we're going to try and get a little bit more aggressive and see if we can do some full road work, but obviously it's a little bit out of the ordinary to do that. I wanted to touch a little bit about some of the half road work by the train station. And I know people are frustrated there, and I know when they see all of this new road work, it looks a little bit silly just to get the half road versus a full road, especially when some potholes are still there and so on and so forth. But I would say, in general, what we look for is make sure that the road's structurally sound, right?
That is right.
And I think those roads, for the most part, are structurally sound. And the thing I wanted to mention was, and I've talked about this beforehand, but we're going to have a large investment in the train station. Those roads are directly by the train station. When you're investing $27 million in a train station and you're going to have to install, elevator, rehab the building, and whatever other platform rehabs there, I would imagine they're probably going to have to do some heavy equipment in that area. Is that a fair assumption?
Absolutely. There's going to be major construction vehicles and traffic and dump trucks and everything you can imagine beating up on those roads, essentially.
Yeah. And what we've tried to do, and I think we can look to see if we can make those areas any better. We'll always get creative where we can. We try to not throw away investments. That is to say, we've historically paved a road, had somebody come rip it up, and we just wasted whatever $1 million that we just paid for the road because it breaks the continuity of the actual road. I think part of the reason in some of these areas we've made the logical decision to only do the half road is it's kind of silly or hard to have a road get beat up so bad shortly after you do the paving. So, I mean, I guess in broad strokes, does it make sense to sort of hold off based on the fact that these are probably going to see some punishment based on the work that's going to come there by the train station?
That's an absolutely fair recommendation to make. I mean, the surface course of the asphalt isn't the main structural component of the road. It's the stabilized base. That surface is going to start to get beat up on. After the work is done, you have it resurfaced, you have it milled, you expose the stab base, and then you do any repairs to that course and make a nice smooth surface course. It's less noisy, the aggregate's a little smaller, it's a lot smoother of a ride. I've unfortunately in my career have seen so many different things being done in different municipalities where they didn't think nothing of paving in the rain or doing things that are unorthodox from an engineering perspective, and they just brushed it off as, well, we've always done this. And I would witness it and educate them otherwise. But in this case, yeah, just do the repairs. If it's unraveling terribly and it's a safety issue, obviously, then you do a patch, you do a pothole repair. But if you know you're going to be in for a lot of construction, give it some pause, let the job get done, do the absolutely necessary repairs, and then do the full mill and overlay afterwards.
Yep.
That would be the most effective, cost-effective, that's what they call value engineering, way of doing things.
Yep. Cool. Thank you, John.
You bet.
Any other questions for the engineer?
Yeah, John, thank you and the chief, fire chiefs behind you. The arrows look great for the hydrants. I mean,
Oh, good.
I got to get a life, whatever, but they
Can't miss them.
they look good. And like Chief will know, when it's 8 inches of snow on the ground, you like to know what a hydrant is. You do see it, and it actually, you can't see behind a car and all that stuff. But the arrows, I've been trying to get them done for years. Thank you.
You bet.
So I just have a question on the striping on 28. Just fresh, which specific are you exactly talking about? The striping on the DOT? What?
Oh, that inquiry had to do, it was by the Sunrise Printing? Is that it?
Oh, okay.
There's some,
Grove
Grove
Street.
Street, okay.
yeah, just
Okay.
the
All right.
25
I didn't
feet
remember.
by the
Thank
curb
you.
return.
Yeah, and it was just, the other thing, we're waiting for 240, the Meridian, that's something else, so, okay.
Yeah, that's a separate one. We keep chasing on that. What we've been told is that they're having difficulty getting in the signage to install it. So, DOT, what can I tell you?
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, sure, Jody.
A lot of
So,
things.
so the half-paved roads, and the train station, we don't even have an architect yet as far as the train station goes. Like, I have residents, constituents that are calling, and they're very upset, as far as, and I understand everything that you're saying. How long do you think until this project actually starts, like, and then start to finish?
I can't
How
speak on the train station project. I'm
I-
not,
I
Do
can
we,
s-
do
I-
we even
I
have
can-
the money for the train station
So
at this point?
I can speak on that, yeah. So we do have the money for it. It was put actually as a line item in the budget that just got passed this summer. A lot of it's actually getting paid for by the Biden infrastructure bill. But they are going, I think the plan, the last we spoke, we should be getting some renders actually pretty soon this fall. The plan is to go out to bid next March, they were targeting. So select a vendor, and then start breaking ground by next year. So, these roads should last 25 years, 20 years.
2025.
I'm rounding up because
Okay.
we're a small town. We can only pave so many roads.
It's safe for me to tell them by next year.
It should
we
be
breaking
it should be
ground.
breaking ground, yeah, but for sure. Yeah, I mean, I would say again, it's actually there were actually more. Sorry, let me take a step back. I would say that with less certainty 3 months ago, but we actually found out that it was in the state budget this year, and we got assurances that it's going to be paid for fully. So the updated plan is to bid was March, I think they said, and they wanted to break ground fall, summer next year.
2023.
Yeah, 2023.
Okay, just so that I can let.
No, yeah, and I know, like, I mean, believe me, Jody, I look at it, I'm like, oh god, this does look stupid, but like,
You've been fighting for that for a while now.
yeah. It's just, it feels so dumb to say like, all right, we're gonna pave this and then just beat it up again. I mean, you're gonna have like backhoes and stuff rolling into that. Who knows? So,
Okay, just so that I have
Yeah.
information to give back to them.
yeah, but the groundbreaking should be next year according to the plan that we saw.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Cool, thank you.
There you go. I covered that one for you, John. Okay, I did Ken Blum. Coach Ranieri.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Mayor Signorello and Town Council for giving me the opportunity to provide a brief update. The goal of the Roselle Park Recreation Department is to meet the recreational needs of our community. As part of our department's effort to meet these needs and expand community services, our department provides a wide range of programs. Memberships and recreation. Registration is open for homework club, aftercare, transportation, fall and off-season recreational sports and activities. Homework and aftercare, we currently have over 100 registrations. Our first day is September 7th. Transportation will begin right after school, which happens to be a half day. We are pleased to report that our department will offer the following changes to the recreational programming. We created a personalized ASYC aftercare and homework club schedule, back-to-school night events for members, parents' night out, Roselle Park spring events, group events, off-season sport practices, middle school, co-ed intramurals, high school, girls flag football, adult basketball, volleyball, fitness, golf, and pickleball, to name a few. We believe these changes will afford our community members the requested ASYC programming. We'd be remiss to not thank Mayor Signorello and the members of council for allowing us to provide the Roselle Park community with these requested services. The Roselle Park Recreation Committee will be hosting their annual Halloween event on Saturday, October 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial Library. More information to follow. Recreation Department information will continually be posted on our social media platforms. In addition, you can find this information on our Barrels website, rosellepark.net, click Recreation. As always, you can contact the Recreation Department at recreation@rosellepark.net with any questions or concerns. Mayor Signorello and Town Council, that completes my September Recreational Department update. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Cool. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yep. Mr. Chief Parento. What's your formal name? Mr. The big.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, administrators, department heads, and members of the audience. Here's my report for the Roselle Park Fire Department. Recently, last month, we had our cool downs. They went very well. I'd like to thank everyone who was involved with that. We're going to be continuing our outdoor training since the weather is still nice. We have 6 recruits in the fire academy. We started with 7. One had a job change, so he had to drop out. We have some repairs still ongoing with apparatuses, waiting for parts and time to get it done. Recently, we're having some conversations with Meridian and Fernmore about fire safety items and concerns. So far, everything's been going well. They're listening to our ideas. We're listening to what they want to do. We just concluded hose and ladder testing. I know we possibly inconvenienced some of the residents on Laurel Avenue, but we apologize for that. Hopefully, everything went well and there wasn't too much disruption. I submitted my reports to Andrew. So you'll see copies of those. Also, this month, it includes a fire prevention report. Fire prevention's been doing a nice job, and I've been trying to get them to narrow down what we're doing. And the Roselle Park Fire Department wants to extend its condolences to the Kenilworth Fire Chief Kruger and his family on the sudden passing of his daughter. That concludes my report.
Thanks, Chief. Just two things for you, just a heads up. So I know we talked a little bit about this in private, and you've actually been doing a really good job recruiting volunteers recently. We've been getting them in waves. But one of the ordinances tonight, we actually got a tip from, was it Scotch Plains? Andrew reached out to the other BAs to see what they do to help encourage volunteerism. I think it was Scotch Plains. Basically, for volunteers in town, they offer free kids rec programs or waive the fees. So that's one of the things we're doing tonight. So you can let any of your members know. Well, we need to read it twice, but they'll be available to, enjoy the benefits of that. So any of the
That's
rec
great.
programs are free. And, for those, when you're doing your recruiting drives or whatever, it's another little benefit for those of us that are
Absolutely.
volunteering. So, cool.
Great, that's super. Thank you.
And then I think I'm gonna put Carol on the spot. I think we're looking at. We were hoping to close in August on the EMS sale. I think we're probably gonna get it done this month. I'm gonna defer to council to hopefully validate.
Listen, okay. Yes, we were supposed to close the end of August. I had some health issues that kind of pushed it back, and I have promised the mayor before September is out that we were going to do this, because I made this promise to him in January, and I intend to keep it. So it will be. We're closer to it now than we were back in January. Let me put it to you that way.
I keep telling Ray, I'm like, it's coming,
know,
it's
it's
coming.
done.
It's
Somebody
great.
else had to say it.
Unfortunately, Andrew and I were just having this conversation. I
I know.
spoke with our rep. There is another 6.5% price increase
Hey.
coming in October.
Yep.
Which possibly equates to like $56,000 increase.
Yep.
Which is
Adds to the tab.
crazy.
Yep.
So anything we could do, we'll be helping the taxpayers of Roselle Parks.
Yeah, 100%.
With that.
Cool.
No, we're closer to the end.
Good.
Thanks, Ray.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, I think that's all the reports we have here.
You can go to rec programs now for free next month.
Oh, great. Thank you. So good. Coach, I'm coming. I get to go to the after-school program for free now. Feels good.
Wow.
But homework club. I need so much. I need so much math help. Okay. There are no written reports submitted for this evening. There are no. Oh, I need a motion to accept the reports, right? Oh, there's no written. Okay, got it. There are no ordinances for second reading this evening. Andrew, please read ordinance number 2699 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2699 is an ordinance amending Chapter 40, an ordinance for introduction, ordinance amending Chapter 40, Land Use, Part 3 Zoning, Article 15 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park, entitled General Provisions.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2699 for introduction, refer said ordinance to the Municipal Land Use Board for review pursuant to the statute, and fix the date for second reading and public hearing as October 6, 2022?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, I'll talk about this.
Yep.
Yeah, 2699, there was several residents reached out to me regarding permit concerns where they pull permits and a year or two, year and some change later, the borough went out and actually found them in violation. So after considering the totality of circumstances pertaining to the borough not being required to follow up and or approve work done by residents after permits were pulled, seemed inefficient. These residents in particular were trying to do the right thing by pulling permits, and they thought that they were in compliance, and the contractors informed them that they were in compliance. However, they weren't. So I had to do a little research, and I had discussions with Andrew, Rich, and a policy was created, but I felt like it was more pertinent or important to actually put this policy into an ordinance so we could create some sort of balance with protecting residents as well as liability concerns that the borough may see as well. Also, it gives the residents an opportunity to hold the contractors accountable for whatever mistakes or false notions that they advised their clients that this would be done. I just felt really saddened by this. So with that being said, I wanted to be clear, there's a significant difference between a resident not pulling a permit, perhaps intentional or not, versus a resident simply thinking that they are doing the right thing by pulling a permit. Only to find out a year or so later that this will cause further financial hardship that could have been corrected at the time of completion of the project. So it just makes sense that as an elected official, I believe that laws like this create balance between government and the people, especially for the average resident. Zoning and land use laws in New Jersey can be very difficult, confusing, and complicated. It is my belief that we should make this process easier while safeguarding the borough and residents' rights and needs of service. So all in all, I know I'm repeating myself and I'm going on and on. I just felt as though that this was necessary to ensure balance is created between the resident and the borough. It just made sense to do, so.
Okay. Any further discussion? Thank you, Greg. Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Belomo.
Yes. 6
votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is introduced.
Andrew, please read ordinance number 2700 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2700 is an ordinance for introduction, an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 4, subsection 4.1 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Recreation Fees Enumerated.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2700 for introduction and fix the date for second reading and public hearing as September 15th, 2022?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion? I am hearing none. Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Belomo.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is introduced.
Andrew, please read ordinance number 2701 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2701 is an ordinance for introduction, an ordinance fixing the salaries of Department of Public Works Group employees of the Borough of Roselle Park in the County of Union, State of New Jersey for the years 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2701 for introduction and to fix the date for second reading and public hearing as September 15th, 2022? Is
So move. Second.
there any discussion? Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Belomo.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is introduced.
Andrew, please read ordinance number 2702 by title.
Yes, Mayor. Ordinance 2702 is an ordinance for introduction, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Section 39, subsection 39.2 of the Code of the Borough of Roselle Park entitled Handicap Parking on Streets for Private Residences.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2702 for introduction and fix the date for reading and second public hearing as September 15th, 2022? Is
So move. Second.
there any discussion? Andrew, please call the roll.
Councilman Petrosky.
Yes.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Signorello.
Yes.
Councilman Urbina.
Yes.
Councilwoman Belomo.
Yes.
6 votes in the affirmative, Mayor. The ordinance is introduced.
All matters listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Andrew, please read all resolutions on the consent agenda by title.
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 23922 is authorizing closeout of the contract with Granada Construction Corp. For the Project 2021 NJDOT Road Program improvements to Valley Road. Resolution 24022 is authorizing and directing the Chief Administrative Officer to request certain traffic regulation changes along a portion of County Road 627, locally known as Chestnut Street, within the vicinity of West Grant Avenue. Resolution 24122 is authorizing and directing the Chief Administrative Officer to request certain traffic regulation changes along a portion of New Jersey Route 28, locally known as Westfield Avenue, in the vicinity of County Road 619, locally known as Locust Street. Resolution 24222 is authorizing the tax collector to issue reductions and/or refunds in the total amount of $17,011.16 on 4 properties and as authorized by the Union County Tax Board. Resolution 24322 is determining the form and other details of the Borough of Roselle Park's note relating to the Water Bank Construction Financing Program of New Jersey Infrastructure Bank to be issued in the principal amount of up to $1,245,000 and providing for the issuance and sale of such note to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank and authorizing the execution and delivery of such note by the Borough of Roselle Park in favor of the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank pursuant to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank Water Bank Construction Financing Program. Resolution 24422 is authorizing the treasurer to issue 2 checks totaling $90,814.31 payable to 2 lien holders on 2 properties and 2 checks totaling $124,000 from the tax collector's premium account. And Resolution 24522 is authorizing the tax collector to cancel current and future property taxes for 100% exempt disabled veterans.
Okay, I'm going to pull 241-22. Do any other members wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the resolutions remaining on the consent agenda?
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 24-22?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion? So, look, I don't vote on this unless it's a tie, but I would urge the governing body to consider the ramifications of this one. Although I know it's a noble request, I think that intersection is already such a hot mess. Having a loading zone is just going to add to more chaos there. I think longer term, Locust and Westfield Avenue, hopefully some of the traffic there will be alleviated once the Gordon Street Bridge is done, but it's never going to be a fantastic intersection. And the idea of gumming up the works there more with having a specific loading zone does not make me sleep well at night. So I'm not in favor of this resolution, but I'm open. I don't know if anybody else wants to have any discussion on that.
Hey, so I had reached out to Andrew, Mr. Cassius, for this because I was Sunrise Diner had asked. They're having issues with box trucks and deliveries there, also with Uber Eats, and so they can't function properly with these coming in. And I know that a lot of days it looks like their parking lot's empty, but on their busy times, their business has changed. So they're not asking for the entire strip. They're asking for 1 or 2, but they'd be happy with 1 parking spot to be restricted for their Uber Eats to run in and out, so it doesn't cause havoc within the parking lot. They're not asking for the 3 parking spots between the 2 driveways. They're just asking for 1 parking spot, maybe 2.
Yeah, I guess so. My issue is, and obviously I understand, I like the guys at Sunrise, so I want to be respectful to their requests, but it would be taking havoc as it's been described from their private parking lot to what's already a state highway and a pretty hairy intersection. So I mean, again, I talked to the police department and a couple other folks. I think our professionals see this as a net negative for traffic flow there. So again, I'm not in favor of it, but I only get to vote if there's a tie. So that's my 2 cents. Any further discussion?
I'll just briefly say, in my many years as many years as a fire chief, is one of the craziest accidents I've seen in whatever, I can't think of 40 years, but many accidents where I've seen the lights just sheared off. It is, like I said, I don't have the data on how many accidents is bad. I'm not in favor of taking 1 or 3 parking spots away to a premium from Calvin Hill Road to Valley Road, so taking away. And that business has been there 50 years, and look, I can't remember going down West Fifth Avenue saying a box truck can't deliver us produce, so, like the mayor says, could we revisit this 2 years from now when the bridge is redone? That's my opinion, so I would wait 18 months, 2 years, whenever the bridge is done. It's still, and then starting next week, school starts, the traffic's back, right? I mean, I tell you what, when I have to go to Rawway, Linden, I don't go Locust Street anymore. Believe it or not, I get on the Parkway, get off on Clark. It's crazy to go Locust Street, crazy. So I won't support this tonight. 2 years from now is another story. That's all I have.
Any further discussion? Andrew, please call the roll.
Sorry, just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I got hit, and that's because of.
Councilman Petrosky.
No.
Councilman Connolly.
No, definitely.
Councilman Johnson.
No.
Councilman Signorello.
No.
Councilman Rubino.
No.
Councilman Belomo.
Yes.
5 votes in the affirmative, 5 votes in the negative, 1 in the affirmative. The resolution is not agreed to.
Reports of Borough Council committees. Greg, you gotta leave early. Go ahead, First Ward Councilman,
Thank you.
so the boss doesn't yell at me.
Yeah, please, because the real boss is probably outside waiting for me.
His wife is the real boss. Janine looks confused.
We know who the real boss is. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and residents. As a military veteran who proudly served among the brave citizens here within this great nation, I would like to take a moment during my report to reiterate and recognize the month of September as Suicide Prevention Month. There are many significant reasons as to why military veterans may face these concerns, whether it be service-connected, family, financial, etc., and the list goes on. Nonetheless, I would be remiss not to mention this concern, and I would like for the general public not only to be aware of this matter, but also to help disseminate a message that help is available. If you happen to recognize a veteran in need of assistance, please start by having them contact the Veterans Crisis Hotline at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 to talk to someone that may be able to assist you. I think the data says, 22 a day, Mike?
22.
Yeah.
Push-ups, hoorah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's the stats and data. The following meetings and venues that I attended since the last mayor and council meeting on Wednesday, August 31st, I attended the diversity and inclusion meeting regarding our upcoming anti-bullying and youth venue. More information will follow once the flyer is complete, and I'll follow up. I'll have more information during the next meeting. Next on my report is upcoming community concerns, infrastructure improvements to Union Road. Just to reiterate what Andrew said, from my understanding, a bid notice was published today. We should know something by September 13th, and hopefully we can expect to award a contract during our upcoming mayor and council meeting. I think it's important because a lot of work that we do in mayor and council, some stuff can happen quickly, but this is one of the projects that been
It's been stewing there for a while.
yeah. So it's coming, residents. I just ask residents to be patient. The grant and everything was already approved. It's just a matter of formality. On August,
Greg checks in at like every Tuesday. Is it done yet?
on August 24th, I received another email from another concerned resident regarding people speeding coming off of East Westfield Ave onto Sheridan Ave residential area. Several months prior, Andrew could correct me if I'm wrong, we implemented speed calming measurements such as a blinking stop sign and rumble strips. With the school year approaching and in mind, and still having these concerns, the chief, Andrew, and I decided to discuss ways to minimize this concern. I would like to formally thank the police chief for reaching out to commission Union County to conduct a formal traffic study of the 100 blocks of Sheridan Ave. This comprehensive study will include vehicle speeds, vehicle volume, vehicle types, based on vehicle weight, direction of travel, and time of travel. Ultimately, this study will provide us data that will allow the borough to have a clearer picture of what issues are prevalent and need to be addressed. On Monday, August 29th, 9 crosswalks were added to East Grant Ave. Thank you, Andrew, for helping to address this concern before the upcoming school year. Appreciate you. And I'm sure the First Ward residents and Second do, too. Double flashing.
Third, fourth, and fifth don't care about you.
No. We're gonna, eventually, our goal, we had discussion that all the schools will be done. So, with money, we're allocating it little by little. I happen to be one that initiated it first, so therefore, it's gonna get to the rest of the residents.
Yeah, he used to be a
I see you, Jay.
He used to be a first ward councilman, so I feel like you guys get a little extra
That's
love.
it. That's it. We're starting to have something here.
Get ready to share with the West Side, all right?
That's not right.
We will,
That's
I
not
got
right.
you. Double flashing beacon, school zone systems, solar school zone, pedestrian flashing signage for East Grant surrounding the Sherman Ave Elementary project is expected to commence mid-October, if all goes well, because you know how things back order and get delayed. And that's it for my report. Residents, please remember your voice matters, and as First Ward Council, I will always place the concerns of the residents within the borough of Roselle Park first. If you need to get in contact with me, please email me at gjohnson@rosellepark.net, or you can call me at 908-303-1519. And Mayor, that concludes my report. Thank you very much for allowing me to skip the order. I'll tell the boss that you was very generous.
I just want to. From now on, I know if I want a short report from Greg, I got to tell the boss.
That's it.
Can you take that with you?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna go Councilman at Large Signorello because I know he's hot to trot about a certain topic. Go ahead.
Oh, the Penn State game's on tonight.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I've been working with Councilman Petrowski a little bit on Aldine Park, concerned residents up there. It's dark. The trees are coming in now, which actually block some of the dusk of dawn lighting or the Cobra head lighting. So Joe's been there at night. I went there a couple of nights. So we're going to try to address a couple of items. It'll take a couple of weeks to here and there. We got a tree trimmed to maybe help a floodlight by the Monsignor Loretti Park over there in the corner. So we're just trying to address some areas in Aldine Park. And look, I say it every month, to cap the audience. If you have a street light out, try to just call it into the borough clerk's office, and we'll get it into the system. I want to thank the police chief and Andrew on taking some action on Clay and Walnut with a few accidents that we've had in the last couple weeks and the last year, and impressed with 5 working days. We've come a long way, and I put my 2 cents in. The mayor put his 3 cents in, and the team worked out a good, happy medium right now to make this street a lot safer. And today, I can't believe, like anything you order, it takes forever. The flashing lights were installed today. And I saw them flashing. Now, maybe the first day or two, they think they have to be charged up. So I don't know when it came out of a box, but if they'll be on 24/7, until the sunlight comes out in the morning. But there's a major input, a major difference on Clay and Walnut as we speak tonight. So thank you to the DPW, the borough clerk, Andrew.
I said I've never seen you more excited about a Roselle Park thing in general.
Well, so I want to just, I had a bad accident there, and
Is that where you broke the ram?
No, the Ram, no. 96, I got in a bad accident, and a guy was coming off Grant Avenue, flying, and T-boned me. And the lights were on, and he didn't have his lights on. Short and sweet, it was a pretty bad accident, and was involved with. So I know that intersection, but we could probably do a couple more things. But right now, I think we're we're in a good position. So thanks to all. And that's all I have. And let's go Mets and Penn State tonight. We are. That's the end of my report.
Council President Prostrowski, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, buddy, but
It's okay,
had some pressing issues.
no problem. Okay, first of all, I wanted to send my condolences out to Linda Sweeto's family and Marie Hannon, which is William Hannon, a former police officer, his grandmother. They both passed away, so I send my condolences out. August 29th, I had an emergency meeting of joint sewer. I want to thank Ken and Andrew for coming. It was a long one, yes. But I appreciate them coming. And then I had another one yesterday, the 31st, joint sewer, and it's it's about a wall they were supposed to build 10 years ago, and it's still going on. And then FEMA promised that they were going to pay 90% of it, so that was the ordeal. So 8 towns showed up at the meeting, and 8 towns voted yes. Ours was the minimum, right, Ken? Smallest amount. So, like Elizabeth, they had a big.
$10 million.
Yeah, there was quite a bit. So, but ours was, and I had a funny feeling it wasn't going to go through. Ken felt the same way, and I'm sure Andrew felt it, but it did go through. So that was resolved yesterday. September 9th will be the Hispanic party at the Gazebo Park. There'll be a food truck there. On September 11th, the 9/11 Memorial at Kelly's Crawford Park at 7 p.m. October 17th is the Oktoberfest at the Mike Morey Park from 3 to 8. The Roselle Park Football League will be sponsoring the beer garden. So, and on the 24th is the Roselle Park Arts Festival. So, if you need to contact me, you get me at jpetrosky@rosellepark.net, 908-666-7821, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Jody?
Sure. Okay, I'd like to start my report tonight with the concern from the Third Ward residents. I received many emails and phone calls from residents in regards to half-paved roads, specifically Filbert and Donald Place. Although the mayor responded to the concerns, our residents were not impressed with the response from the town. One of the common threads of the conversation was that the train station project was not even being planned yet, and it will take years to get started on the work. Unpaved roads can cause damage to vehicles, and it makes it more difficult for the DPW to keep our roads clean and safe for residents during hazardous conditions. Also could cause damage to town vehicles when plowing, and lastly, looks unpleasing to the eye. I had the honor and the privilege of choosing the Roselle Park Business of the Month. As a small business owner, I think of our community and what it takes to be in a business today: integrity, perseverance, and tenacity. My choice of September's Business of the Month holds true to those characteristics. Dowling's Irish Pub and Restaurant. September 11, 2015 was their first day in business, and through these past 7 years, I watched as they built their business and fought for it to continue to stay in Roselle Park. Dowling's truly gives back to the community. They support our police officers and local PBA. They work with others to better our community. I have worked with them in the past in unity with Positively Roselle Park 24/7, our toy drive. They love Roselle Park, and it shows through all they do for our town. In '94, my business was devastated by a fire, so I understand what it takes to come back from a disaster. For Dowlings, a tropical storm and a hurricane washed away all they worked for. They did not give up and go away. Instead, they purchased the building they were renting and are rebuilding and investing in a future in Roselle Park. Owners Russ Olden and Mark Dowling are truly an example of small business and a class act. On September 10th, they'll be having a block party at their business to celebrate 7 years of being a part of our community. Roselle Park Small Business Network, as a small business owner, I understand how important it is to work with other small businesses in our community. Therefore, every fourth Tuesday of the month, we will be having a meeting from 7 to 8 p.m. for owners of businesses in Roselle Park to work together, support each other, and open a line of communication from the businesses to the town. Every month, the meeting will be hosted by a business in our community. This month's meeting will be at the Sun Tavern. It was canceled last month because everybody was on vacation but me. So to be at the Sun Tavern located at 600 Westfield Avenue on Tuesday, the 27th of September. If you are interested in it and you are a small business in Roselle Park, you can join our Facebook page at Roselle Park Small Business Network and participate in our survey. The Roselle Park Police Department and Positively Roselle Park 24/7 have joined forces to collect school supplies and book bags for those in need in our community. A few of the drop-off locations are Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library, Tia Jana Dog Care, Brennan's Beddings, Iorio's Deli, and Joe and Jody's Barbershop. Or if you know a family in need, please contact myself or Officer Jessica Diaz. The New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission will be returning to Roselle Park and stationed at Michael Maury Gazebo Park on East Grant Avenue from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Next dates are September 27th, October 13th, and November 9th. Agency on Wheels offers driver's license and real ID license plates, non-driver identification cards, placards, registration, and examination permits. Please check the Borough of Roselle Park Facebook page for more information or contact the Cassano Community Center at 908-245-0666. Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library would like to remind everyone if you need an important document notarized, you can meet with Miss Maria Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the next library board meeting will be on September 21st at 7 p.m. at Roselle Park Veterans Memorial Library. If you'd like more information on programs running in the library, you can call them at 908-245-2456 or go to the website and click on the page that will bring you to the library website. I attended the last Environmental Commission Committee meeting at the Cassano Center on July 6th. The committee's meeting was canceled on August 3rd, and our next meeting is next week, next Wednesday. The committee continues to seek volunteers for the Shade Tree Subcommittee, the Green Team, and Community Garden. Just a reminder from the committee, if you have a borough tree in front of your house, please call the Department of Works. It's unlawful for a homeowner to alter a tree. The committee's planning an end-of-the-year party at the garden on Saturday, September 17th. More information at the end-of-the-year party will be on their Facebook page. If you'd like to get involved or contact, you can go to the committee's Facebook page, Roselle Park Environmental Commission. And here are some events I'm looking forward to in our community and in the Third Ward. On Friday, September 9th, from 6 to 8 p.m., the Fiesta Hispana y Latina at Michael Maury Park. There will be food trucks, a concert, and a dance party. On Sunday, September 11th, will be our annual memorial remembrance and tribute to those we lost on that day in 2001. It'll be held at the Laurel Avenue Firehouse at 7 p.m. On Saturday, September 17th, is the annual Oktoberfest held in Michael Maury Park from 3 to 8. There will be a beer garden sponsored by Roselle Park Pop Warner, a live band, Bernie's Orchestra, a dance performance, food trucks, and the lab will be making German food. On Saturday, September 24th, the Roselle Park Arts Festival will be returning to Chestnut Street. Roselle Park. Chestnut Street will be closed from Westfield Avenue to Lincoln from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. for setup, and the festival will be starting at noon and end at 7 p.m. If you need to get in contact with me, you can email me at jbelomo@rosellepark.net or call me at 908-514-5027. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Connolly?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll say good evening to everybody out there. Like the school season is coming up, and I say this every year about this time, because every time I leave from work, I go down Clay Avenue to Locust Street, and I see the crossing guard fighting with residents trying to make a left turn, trying to make a right turn. You can't do that, because it creates a problem with the children being dropped off at the middle school and the elementary school there. And every year, there's always an incident. And just abide by what they say. There's no turns on that road during a certain time. Also, I'd like to thank everybody for voting negative on Route 28 and Locust Street. That is a bad intersection, and it blocking off there. It's hard to see. I know that for a fact. Other than that, 9/11's coming up. You know, it seems like every year, you know, it seems like it's going down less, but I always think about it all the time because this is, you know, something that can happen anytime, and you just don't take it lightly. And we need our children to be educated about this. And I think this, you know, hopefully it's in the school curriculum, in the history books at least. But other than that, I would like to thank Greg for bringing up the Suicide Awareness Month for September. I'm very active with that, with the veteran organizations, and I'm going to be coming up with quite a few events about it, and I'm going to be educating, you know, the school children about what it's all about, you know, and it's hard for me to talk about. I go through it all the time, and I want to thank him for bringing that up. You need to contact me, email me at mikeconley@rosellepark.net. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Urbina?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, colleagues, and good evening, Roselle Park. Well, summer's winding down. It's been eventful, and it's been one filled with much progress around the borough. On August 23rd, we held the last community cool down for the summer, so I'd like to say big thanks to Director Shaw, the governing body, P.A. Casais, Chief Parento, and our volunteers at the Roselle Park Fire Department for all their help and coordination. Last couple of weeks for me have consisted of follow-ups on constituent requests and concerns, a myriad of items related to safety and security at Aldine Park, and I think it's the same constituent that reached out to both my colleagues here. Regarding streetlight outages and requests for additional lights, paving and striping, road infrastructure, and trees, I've had the opportunity to discuss and strategize with members of the team to address immediately or to find workable solutions. I've attended meetings regarding the spotted lanternfly, so I'll be posting some information on that in the next couple weeks. Upcoming meetings that I will be attending on September 7th will be the Union County Transportation Advisory Board, September 19th, the Municipal Land Use Board meeting, and on September 20th, the Board of Health. As Council President had mentioned, Friday, September 9th, 6 to 8 is the Fiesta Hispana y Latina at Michael Maury Park, and Councilwoman brought it up as well, and everybody brought up the calendar events. So I'm going to do something a little different, say it in Spanish for members of the public that are Spanish-speaking. Viernes, el 9 de septiembre, desde las 6 hasta las 9 de la tarde, a la Fiesta Hispana y Latina en el Parque de Michael Maury, en la esquina de Chestnut y East Grant. Sal a escuchar música en vivo y a bailar, disfrutar y comer con sus vecinos y amigos. Basically, that translates to come out and dance to live music, have a good time, and eat with neighbors and friends. So to all, may you celebrate and recognize the achievements of American workers this Labor Day weekend and enjoy and make great memories with families and friends. By the time we meet again, school will be open and in full swing. I know we have many newly paved roads in the West End, but no reason to speed. Please keep it slow and drive safe, especially around their schools, parks, and neighborhoods. I can be reached at 862-236-0019, jrubine@rosellepark.net. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay. So then my report, just a couple things I wanted to hit on. So first off, Casano Center running low, the food pantry. If you guys can help out, it's great. You know, it's a resource for a lot of members of the community that are in need. I'm going to be stopping by tomorrow with a couple donations, but the more the merrier. Wanted to hit on the Department of Public Works. Although we don't have anything official on the agenda, I'm happy that we closed out our contract last meeting. As a result, we are going to see a decent amount of overturn at the Department of Public Works. And as it's currently staffed, we've been pretty lightly staffed over the last summer and couple months. So I ask everybody for their patience. We are a pretty lean department of about 10. On a given day during the summer, we've had about 4 or 5. We are recruiting more people now, especially for some of the retirements that we know are coming up. So if anybody knows any shade tree bucket operators, we're hiring for that right now, as well as some part-timers coming up. But we're going to look to replenish the staff, but as it stands right now, we are running a little bit lightly staffed, so please be patient. We will also have a renewed focus this fall on building a new Department of Public Works building. I think now that we have things settled contractually, I've asked the liaison, the superintendent, and the BA to start coming up with options for that Department of Public Works. Just as a reminder, we've actually had this budgeted for a while. I believe we originally had somewhere on the tune of $3 million budgeted. Unfortunately, through a number of reasons, we've gone out to bid. We haven't gotten any bids in that budget, so we are looking to reshape another project that fits within the remaining budget that we have. I also want to, as I made a statement earlier, mark about a year since Ida. Obviously, it was a storm that really impacted the borough, myself included, because I lost my car during it, which was not fun. I am proud to say that we've done a lot of work with regards to storm water mitigation since then. We've had a lot of issues around the borough outside of Ida with flooding on Chestnut Street, Walnut, you name it, we've had it. We are looking forward to this fall engaging on a full stormwater study to map out where the problems are and what we can address in the future. We've already done a healthy amount of work in finally cleaning out the culvert down Chestnut Street after 20 years. Additionally, uncovering some boo-boos that we found on Walnut, where we had Elizabethtown gas run through our stormwater lines. So that's going to get fixed and rectified, and hopefully provide some relief when it comes to stormwater drainage in that area. So with that said, still be very helpful this fall, to make sure you look after your catch basins along the street. We'll have DPW out there, but we've done a lot of work over the last 12 months to be more responsive and to be more resilient. And we're also going to be more resilient as part of the repaving project. We're getting really creative with the repaving project and having permeable sidewalks, which would help some of the drainage issues in the downtown. So excited for that. With that said, Mayor Sig at rosellepark.net if you have any questions. I already said it at the top of the house. Yeah. But we'll also, just as Jay was mentioning, we will also, Child Cancer Awareness Month, we will be, have a proclamation for that September 15th, the next meeting. So that's all I've got. May I have a motion to open the public portion on any subject?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anybody wants to come up and speak, may do so now. Please state your name and address. Yep.
My name's Ann Dinkle. I'm on Walnut Street, but I am a member of the Historical Society and Museum.
Yep.
Okay, we are desperately and seeking active members who are going to not only assist us, but help us reorganize the disaster that we inherited. That's the only way to put it. We have people that come, but only come to meetings. Right now, there are 4 members who are there every Saturday, busting our butts and our backs. This past weekend, we had 3 members come help us. Thanks to John Ranieri and the Rec Center, we were able to put some things in storage so we can start organizing, cleaning it out, and just making the museum Roselle Park. There's, politely put, there's more crap there that's not Roselle Park that shouldn't be there. We're getting rid of it.
The uniform.
We had a ton of military uniforms.
I inherited it.
Members didn't want them back. We contacted people. Do you want them? You don't. Got in touch with Greg Johnson. The American Legion took it. They're doing a museum. So we're getting things back to who it belongs to. Unfortunately, previously, there was no inventory. I have no clue who donated what.
Yep.
So we're trying to, it's new leadership, T's are gonna be crossed, I's are gonna be dotted. They'll be able to give you a report to know what is going on. Our biggest problem now is we've been waiting on DPW to look.
Yep.
They have the key, they have the code, they haven't shown up. I made arrangements this
DPW to look for what?
to paint,
Oh, okay,
repair the lights,
got it.
put the lights on outside, get the flagpoles back up,
Yep,
just everything.
yep,
I made arrangements with Paul
yep,
on Tuesday.
Yep.
I left work early.
yep,
He told me he'd meet me at 3.
yep,
20 after 3, he sends a text to somebody, I can't come.
got it.
I lost half a day of work
Yep.
because of that. Supposedly, tomorrow morning, he's going to meet me before 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep,
I plan to be there at 7, just in case he does show up before 8 o'clock, because I have to be in work by 9.
yep,
I work by Raritan Center. So I'm dealing with the Parkway. It's not fun,
yep,
right? We have flyers going out. We have them posted all over Facebook. We need members. We need volunteers. We need active members. We're starting a new membership. Before they had annual, there was no tracking. I have no clue who's who in annual. So we're only doing lifetime, student, and senior
Yep.
volunteers. We also need donations. Since the Historical Society is nonprofit, we need monetary donations. So times are tough, I understand that. I really do. If there's anything anybody can do to help, we would appreciate it beyond all means. Right now, we're trying to keep it closed so we can get everything done, because 4 Centuries in a Weekend is opening October 15 and 16. It's going to be 10 to 5 both days.
Yep.
So we're proud of what we're doing.
yep,
We want everybody else to be proud. It's like we're walking into our own home. And I wouldn't be proud if my home wasn't painted and looked like crap.
yep,
Right? I need people who are going to be there.
yep. Yeah, understood. So sorry about Tuesday. I know, like I said, DPW's been a little bit short-staffed, so totally understand. What I'd like,
Just should have notified us earlier.
yeah, totally. Yeah, Paul's not here, unfortunately, so I can't really speak for him. But yeah, so there's 2 things I want to mention on that. And you're out of time, but I'll talk. So since we're strapped, what I would ask is, can we just get a quote to get whatever needs to get done versus like, yeah, okay, got it. So we're just going to get a quote to contract it out versus
Okay.
waiting on the DBW. So that's one thing. The other thing is, let's keep a lens on what we're doing there, considering, look, it's ultimately a future us decision. But, so just for everybody's edification, it's 2010, of course, Lucky Joe, Romorowski starts getting built under my watch. But I believe it was 2010 that project was approved. As part of that project, one of the benefits of it is we do have space there, right? Now, the original intent of that, as I understand, right, and there's nothing written in paper here, but just handed down, is that the move of the museum should go there. Nice new space, dedicated, in a historical area. So it's something that's worth a conversation in the future with the Historical Society if that's what we want to do.
But that's what we've heard.
Got it. Yeah. Unfortunately, we could talk more about it afterwards, but just to be fair to everybody, I have to cut you
I
off.
understand.
Yeah. So we can have and I talked to Cindy a little bit about this weekend, so we can have a larger conversation if that's what we want to do. I've also asked Rich, our construction official, to ask them what their ETA is for when that's going to be done. They're actually advertising on their website they're going to be done next spring, which I'd be shocked by, but who knows, right? So I just want to be careful, again, not trying to throw away money, but I also want to make sure that it looks up to
sure.
snuff. If that's the long-term move, let's not spend crazy money on the current location because we're going to move somewhere else anyway. But let me find out when we think they're going to be done with that building, and then I think we should have that conversation. We could sit down and talk about if that's a place you want to move, if that's going to be appropriate, then all the more reason to clean some stuff up because it's less stuff to move. So
Yeah, but we still need to, I couldn't tell you when the walls were painted.
Yeah.
And
And we're
right now,
gonna-
we have like 5 lights out.
well, let's not wait on the DBW. Let's get a quote on it. Let's get it
Okay,
fixed. Cool.
perfect.
Thank you.
And real quick, thank you so much for mentioning the military suicide. There are 22 deaths a day. My brother was one of them 4 years ago this coming Sunday. I am doing everything I can as a doula and a Reiki master in his honor, and I am doing it all for the veterans. So I thank you for both mentioning that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Joe DiOrio, 824 Larch Street. I was just listening, or I caught the tail end of what was discussed about the Historical Society. I think you might want to check with the administrator. I thought that was changed during one of the last amendments to the redevelopment agreement. That it was done maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Might want to ask Andrew that.
I think there's still dedicated borough space, right?
But
Yeah, I
not
don't-
for the museum.
I don't recall if we changed the lease agreement for the museum. I know it's public space for the borough. We might have just changed it from museum to public space, but I think
Yeah.
they're amenable
Double
to
check
switching it
that
back.
because I thought one of the contingents with getting the new developer in there is they wanted to change that aspect of the redevelopment agreement. So
Yeah, I will triple check, but I'm almost positive that does not say museum space, but it says borough space. I'm forgetting the exact
We've
square
been,
footage.
we've been talking about this internally the last few weeks, and we just honestly have not opened the agreement just to double check it, but we will double check it and make sure, because it's,
Well,
there's
we're going to kill two birds with one stone, honestly, because I asked Rich, construction official specifically, to ask when that space would be ready. So we're going to check it as part of that. But regardless, if it's not available, then, we'll just put a little more elbow grease on the existing place. But I'd be shocked if that wasn't part of the agreement, because I remember distinctly pushing for.
when it was
yeah,
in
yeah.
2010-ish, whenever that agreement
Yeah.
was finalized. But
Yeah.
when developers changed, the newest developer
I thought it
had-
was just changing the unit count, but whatever. We'll double check it. Yeah.
And do you have any? I'm sorry to catch the tail end of the meeting, but is there any updates on the restaurant being, or the retail space, or whatever?
Yeah.
I think
It's
the
a-
last discussion of 250 West Westfield Avenue, the Meridia project number 1.
Yeah. So we've gone around.
We
and-
understood it was a restaurant, but then we were told it was retail space, and I thought it was at 240. So I'm just, if you
Yeah,
have
no,
any
I'm
updates.
happy to give you an update because we've gone around and around and around on this. So the redevelopers agreement only calls for commercial space. So where I think confusion landed, and we involved our borough attorneys and everybody relevant to do this. I believe it was mentioned during a land use board meeting. Was that a restaurant would be nice there or something like that?
yeah, it was, I believe it was mentioned at the land use board
And,
meeting.
and if I may, before my time is
Sure.
up, there was discussion, I think, with the construction official several months ago that they had put in, Meridia Capaglia had put in a proposal for an Italian bar. Is that still the proposal?
So we haven't seen a formal proposal yet. Go ahead. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
just don't want to take your time.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're,
No, I'm good. You can take my time
okay.
on
so
this one.
so there was a fit out applied for with the building department for Italian pizzeria / like brick oven pizza / bar
right.
type of thing. They, in their pro forma, not pro forma, but in their business model, they want to move that liquor license to 10.
Right, so
which
right
is-
now, there's nothing proposed. Because
Well, what's-
there's a proposal to shift it over to another location.
Correct. I believe what they want to put in at this stage is a recording studio of some type, like a news outlet type of recording studio in there, and that meets the criteria that's in the redevelopment plan.
Okay, so does that mean that units can't be occupied in 250 West Westfield, or are they being occupied?
They're being occupied wherever that is, and I fumble around with the numbers myself. Wherever that is, there's a TCO, and
Which permits them to occupy
be
those
occupied
locations. I
residentially,
remember the
yes.
construction official saying they were going to get fined $1,000 a day or something along those lines if they didn't.
if they
prevent-
ultimately did not do anything and refused to comply, they would be fined daily for that on a resolution compliance matter.
But just to end cap it, and I think this will help answer your question, I hope, is there was, because of discussion during the land use board, there was a thought that there was a requirement to make a restaurant there. In the redevelopment agreement, again, predates me, but it requires commercial space. It does not specifically require a restaurant, right? So, look, they are, I think, committed to filling that commercial space. The latest idea that I was told was, so it's New Jersey 12 has like a digital sub-brand where it's like NJ12 Plus or something like that. They actually did a thing in Roselle Park last year with the Oktoberfest and everything. They realized there was an open space there, so I believe the tenant that they're looking to move in there is that news studio, which could be kind of cool, but there is no requirement either at the land use board or in the redevelopment agreement to have a restaurant there. The requirement is for commercial space, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Mayor, could I just add one
yeah,
thing to that?
sure.
For those of us who have read the agreement and have been through this process many times, the other document that referenced a restaurant and a bar was the financial agreement application. I think that for most of us is what muddied most of the waters beyond the land use board if you didn't pay attention to everything that was going on at the land use board. What I was unaware of going through this process, and now I am, is that where there's a conflict between the redevelopment agreement and the financial agreement, the redevelopment agreement governs. If it's considered non-substantial, which this is, because it would just be another version of commercial space.
So the developer lied.
They didn't lie. I mean,
That's what they proposed. My time's up, I'm sorry.
they proposed that version of retail commercial space in their financial agreement. You can consider it whatever you want, but
No, that's what they proposed.
your time's up.
I know.
Anybody else? Okay. All right. I'm seeing nobody else. May I have a motion to close the public portion on any subject?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there are no matters for closed session this evening. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.